Rapid economic growth in Africa offers a major energy challenge, which is worsened by rising expectations for better resilience and sustainability. One of the continent's top development priorities is to find a long-term solution to fulfill the continent's growing energy demands. Africa is rich in renewable energy sources, such as hydro, solar, and wind, to name a few. However, fossil fuels remain Africa's primary source of electricity, despite reports that this may change in the future years as more countries show interest in green energy. With a population of over 1.2 billion people, Africa will be the driving force behind global population expansion in the coming decades. According to the International Energy Agency, nearly 600 million people in Africa lack access to energy, making it critical to devise tenable ideas for economic optimization on the continent. Renewable energy is becoming popular in Africa, as they are in other areas of the world, not just because of environmental concerns, but also because they are cost-effective, reliable, and sustainable. Today, we present the 10 leading countries in renewable energy in Africa, based on the current International Renewable Energy Agency data. Here are the top 10 leading countries in renewable energy in Africa. 10. Nigeria, 2,149 megawatts installed capacity. Nigeria is endowed with abundant alternative and renewable energy resources, such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric energy, all of which have the potential to meet the needs of both urban and rural Nigerians for the complete electrification of the country. Rural areas in the country have unequal access to electricity because demand surpasses generation. Hurdles to the effective implementation of an orderly energy policy in Nigeria include inefficiencies in energy resource allocation and the imminent depletion of fossil fuels. These necessitate the justifications for the country to exploit its abundant natural renewable resources. However, there is still work to be done in order to improve these resources. As a result, the government anticipates renewable energies to account for 30% of the country's electricity structure by 2030. 9. Kenya, 2,191 megawatts installed capacity. Kenya has a plentiful amount of solar radiation, moderate wind speeds, and renewable energy sources such as hydro and biomass. The use of new and renewable energy sources now available in Kenya is critical for strategic planning for fossil fuel alternatives to cover a portion of the country's energy needs. Renewable energy plays a significant role in Kenya's energy supply, accounting for 62% of the country's overall energy generation. Because of the country's different climates and terrain, the country's renewable portfolio is broad and extensive. According to data from the International Renewable Energy Agency, geothermal is Kenya's main source of renewable energy generation, generating 5,000 gigawatt-hours in 2020. Kenya, like many other African leaders in renewable energy utilization, has made a clear commitment to continue research, development, and deployment of innovative technology. In the same year, hydropower came in second, with 3,355 gigawatt-hours, while solar, wind, and bioenergy contributed 350 gigawatt-hours. 8. Mozambique, 2,313 megawatts installed capacity. With 187 gigawatts of untapped coal, gas, wind, solar, and hydropower, Mozambique has the most power generation potential in southern Africa, accounting for about 81% of the existing capacity. In Mozambique's energy mix, natural gas and renewable energy sources are becoming increasingly important. Despite the immense potential, transmission and distribution networks are insufficient. Due to a difficult market situation for a new generation, just 29% of the population has access to electricity. Residential customers are struggling to cope with the present subsidized electricity. According to the solar company Scatback Solar, the industrial and commercial categories are projected to drive demand development. The building of Mozambique's first big-scale solar installation, a 40-megawatt power plant near the city of Macuba, began in 2018 and is a step in the right direction. The project is expected to generate 79 gigawatt-hours of electricity per year once completed, enough to power 175,000 houses. 7. Zambia, 2,538 megawatts installed capacity. Zambia is a member of the Southern African Development Community and has a population of more than 14 million people. Hydropower dominates its energy sector. Massive hydropower contributes to 99% of the country's electricity, with microhydro and diesel plants providing the rest. The country has a lot of renewable energy resources, such as hydro biomass, solar, wind, and geothermal energy, all of which can be used for on-grid and off-grid systems. Zambia is heavily reliant on hydroelectric electricity, according to the International Energy Agency, generating 11,025 gigawatt-hours in 2016. However, this is changing. In April 2019, green energy subsidiary of the Italian energy giant began operating the country's first 34-megawatt solar power plant. Once it is fully operational, the power plant's annual production will reach 70 gigawatt-hours. 6. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, 2,773 megawatts installed capacity. The Democratic Republic of the Congo has a huge and diverse energy potential, with renewable energy sources like hydropower, biomass, solar, and geothermal power, as well as non-renewable resources like oil, natural gas, and uranium. The Democratic Republic of the Congo has a wide territory, according to the International Energy Agency, and hydropower is the main source of renewable energy, generating 99 gigawatt-hours in 2018 alone. According to the U.S. Agency for International Development, the country has the capacity to build up to 100,000 megawatts of hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power currently accounts for 96% of domestic electricity output, with the Nga 1 and Nga 2 dams in Congo Central Province generating the majority of it. Despite the fact that Nga 1 and 2 have a combined installed capacity of 1,775 megawatts, the facility only produces a fraction of that due to decades of neglect and postponed maintenance. 5. Morocco, 3,272 megawatts installed capacity. Since 2009, Morocco has been embarking on a large-scale renewable energy initiative, with the goal of increasing the contribution of renewable energy to the national energy network to 42% by the end of 2021 and 52% by the end of 2022. By the year 2030, Morocco may have grown to become the market leader in renewable energy in North Africa and the African continent as a whole. The kingdom is in a good position to achieve its goal of becoming a true energy hub. Because of its advantageous geographic location, it has access to both the Mediterranean and the Atlantic coast. The country contains the world's largest concentrating solar park, and the International Energy Agency's newer complicated solar power facility exhibits great ambition and technological expertise. CNN reports the nation owns a plethora of wind farms across its borders, including the 300-megawatt Starfire facility on the southwest coast, which can power 1.5 million homes. 4. Angola, 3,460 megawatts installed capacity. Angola's access to clean, modern, and reliable energy remains low, with only 40% of the population having access to it, 69% in urban areas, and only 6% in rural regions. Angola's government wants to deliver power to 60% of the population by 2025. Renewable energy will account for 70% of installed capacity in the country as part of its long-term development goal. Hydropower has a huge potential, with 18.2 gigawatts predicted, but barely 20% of it is actively exploited in 2017. According to data from the International Hydropower Association, power generation from the source reached 4.9 terawatt per hour. If the right measures are taken, the country might become a big player in the hydropower industry. 3. Ethiopia, 4,451 megawatts installed capacity. Ethiopia has a lot of renewable energy resources that can help it reach its aim of electrifying the entire country. Despite the fact that it has a lot of potentials, the energy sector in the country is still in its infancy. Even though Ethiopia has one of the lowest per capita power usage rates in Africa, the majority of Ethiopians reside in rural areas where they lack access to modern energy and must rely on traditional biomass energy sources. The country wants to use its vast, untapped renewable energy potential not only to meet domestic demand, but also to become a regional exporter and help alleviate East Africa's electricity shortage. To help alleviate the burden of its high sovereign debt, the government has taken significant steps to attract private sector investment into the power sector to support its ambitious pipeline of renewable energy projects, and is actively shifting from public generation to independent power producer projects since 2017. Ethiopia, according to official data, has a renewable energy capacity of approximately 4,000 megawatts, placing it third in Africa. 2. Egypt, 5,939 megawatts installed capacity. Egypt is a wonderful area for renewable energy installations since it has a lot of land, sunny weather, and strong wind speeds. Renewable energy equipment has the potential to be valued at billions of dollars on the market. In order to fulfill expanding demand, the Egyptian government understands the significance of a sustainable energy mix, while also transitioning to a more environmentally sustainable and diverse electrical industry. Egypt can use renewable energy to supply 53% of its electrical mix by 2030, according to an analysis by IRENA. The importance of renewable energy is highlighted in the 2035 Integrated Sustainable Energy Strategy, which calls for the country to increase the percentage of electricity generated from renewable sources to 20% by 2022 and 42% by 2035, with wind power accounting for 14%, hydropower 2%, photovoltaics 22%, and concentrating solar power 3%. The private sector is expected to provide the majority of this capacity, which will expand on previous programs. 1. South Africa, 8,011 megawatts installed capacity. The government of South Africa established the Renewable Energy Independent Power Producer Procurement Program 10 years ago to enable the acquisition of renewable energy from companies that are not exclusive electricity suppliers in the country. Over $13 billion in private money has gone into the construction and operation of 77 solar and wind farms, adding over 5,000 megawatts of generation capacity to the country's already overburdened national grid. According to the IRENA, South Africa is the continent's top in renewable energy capacity. It is home to a number of solar power plants, notably the 96-megawatt Jasper power plant, which has 325,360 photovoltaic panels and can power 80,000 houses. According to the Global Wind Energy Council's data, South Africa's onshore installed wind power capacity reached 2,085 megawatts in 2018. According to the South African Wind Energy Association, wind power accounts for 52% of the country's renewable energy production, with an average size of 93.5 megawatts. By 2030, South Africa is expected to provide roughly 40% of Africa's solar energy. So, there you have it. Those are the top leading countries in renewable energy in Africa. Do you know about other countries which weren't on our list? Share this information in our comments section. If you enjoyed this video and want more definitive information about mega projects and trends in Africa, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. See you in our next video.